Hi everyone, it's Rachel with Rachel Super Cute Creations, and we are going to make some. While I'm waiting for people to come in, I'm going to just grab some supplies. Excuse me. I have a bunch of various fabrics that are kind of boho, and I'm thinking of using some of these. So if you come in, hi Carrie, thanks so much for coming in. I'm just grabbing some fabrics and we're going to get started here. Once some more of our friends come in, I'm going to kind of work. I'm thinking let's do like an all pink, and then maybe we'll kind of move to some different colors. I have a ton of pink boho fabric that I need to like do something with, and they're all scraps. Plus, I have some pink cotton, some really bright pink cotton fabrics. So we're going to get started. Shoot. I'm going to just adjust this a little bit. Sorry, guys. It may be hard to see. If you're coming in, please say hello so I know you're here. Just so you know, I typically start with a 2.5 inch strip, a 2 to 2.5 inch strip, and I try to stick with something that's kind of neutral. Muslin works great if you have muslin, or you want to do something kind of neutral, because if you're using light colors, you don't want them to show through. Okay, so of course I wasn't planning on doing this. This was kind of impromptu. I need to find some light fabric. So, all right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you, I have these like brownish pieces that are strips that I need to do something with. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip them over, and this is the side I'm going to collage on because it's lighter, the wrong side. And you can do a couple of things. If I wanted to, I could stitch all these together. Hi, Kate the Skate. How are ya? Thanks so much for coming over. And then just have to find my scissors, ladies, and we can get started here. Let me go grab my good fabric scissors. Okay, we are ready to go. So I'm not going to worry about joining these together. You can if you want, but I'm not going to worry about that because we're going to do so much quilting on it, it's not going to matter. So the next thing you want to do is you want to just start taking snippets of fabric. And usually what I do is I just start cutting it and ripping it. Now, this fabric is kind of difficult. This boho fabric is difficult to rip. If you're doing something cotton, it will rip much easier. And you don't have to iron pieces. They can be all different sizes and shapes. So just get yourself a pile. So what's everybody up to tonight? My husband's watching all kinds of sports. So I decided to come in and just get to work. What's everybody up to? Everybody's quiet. Is everybody able to see me okay? We're not buffering or anything like that. This one has polka dots on it. Can you, I don't know if you can see that. See the polka dots? Now, I could also use a pink base. If I didn't, for example, I have this pink base, so I might do that. You know what? I'm going to. I have this little pink piece of pink here, and we're going to use this as the base. Okay, so all you do is you just start layering. So I'm going to put this in. Can everybody see that? Guys, can everybody hear me, or are we buffering? Can you let me know if everything's working out okay? All right, so what I'm doing is I am just going down the center first. Are we buffering, you guys? And then I'm stopping once I catch that fabric because now I have to put another piece on. Oh no, you're in the midst of a huge thunderstorm? Well, YouTube's been acting up lately, so I'm sorry if we're buffering and having problems. All right, so I'm just layering these pieces and just covering up my underneath fabric. And they don't have to be perfect. And then once again, I don't know if you can see, but I'm stopping just before I get to that end. Now, here's a piece of cotton. You can see that's what I worked with earlier. And cotton is so much easier to work with than these sorry silks and rayons, but they are gorgeous when they're done. And so I would rather work a little bit at it to make these beautiful pieces. Now, if you cut up all these pieces ahead of time, you won't have to cut in between. You can just lay it and sew, lay it and sew. If you get a couple of wrinkles or buckles, it's not a big deal. You're just going to keep going with it. Let's see here. Oh, let's use this. And because this is kind of wrinkled up, I'm going to use part of that ruffle in here. I'm not going to flatten it all out because that will give it more texture as well. So you can see I'm just letting that ruffle in and just continuing to build. Now, you can always lift your presser foot. Now, notice here, let me go down and then I'll pull it out so I can show you. Okay. Now, I would normally keep going, but I want to show you something. So see how there's space over here? I don't worry about that because I go back in and I fill that in later. All right, so just keep layering, keep finding fabrics that you like. Put them every which way. Don't always just put them up and down. Put them every which way. I don't like them too much wider than the fabric that I'm working with. Just because you want to make sure, whoops, and I unthreaded my machine here. You can do this with ribbon. In fact, I was going to show you, Carrie, how to add ribbon and lace. Whoops. Once we get the base, you can do it with ribbon and lace. You could add it on top and just continue to add more to this, okay? But you could definitely, if you wanted to cut up snippets of ribbon, you could do this technique. It would work. All right, so get this going again. Is that too loud for you guys when I'm sewing? Hopefully you can still hear me. But you can grab, you know, like I have this pink right here, this boho fabric, and oh my gosh, what, look, it's pink, it goes with it. Tear a piece of it, and we're going to add this as well. You can just add any type of fabric you want, and it just makes a gorgeous piece. And as I said before, do not worry about if it bunches up a little bit or if you didn't cover everything, because we're going to go back through and we're going to cover, and you won't have to worry about that. Okay, so just keep building. We're almost there. We're almost to the end of my piece, and I'll show you what it looks like, and then we'll start quilting it. So what's everybody up to tonight? Debbie, you love your journal? Wonderful. I'm so glad you got a chance to come in and see us tonight. Debbie, which journal did you get from me? Hi, Barbara. Thanks for coming. My gosh, some of my friends are coming in. I'm so happy. For those of you who are just joining me, I am making some Scrappy snippets, and I'm just kind of showing you guys how to take those scraps that you have. A lot of you have purchased my fabrics before, so you have lots of fabrics. So as you start ripping and making things, and then you have all these little tiny pieces left and you want to throw them away, but you just can't, this is a great project for that. And so what we're doing, for those of you who are just coming in, is I am just working with pinks right now, and I am creating a pink snippet with boho pink fabrics. And I'm very excited about it. The violet, wonderful. Oh, Kate, she got it from you. Okay, all right. Okay. Susie, hi. Thanks for coming. I'm glad you're a newbie. Thanks, everybody. Yeah, please give me a thumbs up. You know, I do this just for fun and to teach you all something. And so it helps my channel. People find my channel. And so if you would give me a thumbs up, I would greatly appreciate it. All right, we're almost to the end, and I'll show you where we're at, okay? I know it's kind of hard to see. I'm not really set up to do my sewing on camera, but because some people were interested in it, I did a live video showing my latest kit. And because people were interested in it, I decided to just go ahead and do an impromptu. So I apologize that you can't see a whole lot, but I just figured, you know what, we'll do some chatting, and then I'll show you the process, and if anybody has any questions, I'll try to answer those questions for you. What do I put for the base, Lori? Lori, I just use cotton fabric. Now, one of the best things that I found to use is if you have some old sheets and you can tear them into 2-inch strips. Sheets are great bases for these. You can also use muslin, which is what I use a lot of. Okay, so this is what it looks like, ladies. It looks a little crazy right now, okay? But I'm going to go back in. Now, you can work left to right, however you want to. I start over here. That's just how I do it. You don't have to do it that way. And I come right to the edge here, and I start sewing. And I slow my sewing down because here's where I'm trying to make sure that I cover everything. All right. And so I'm just kind of moving my pieces, and when I get to a blank spot, like right here, I don't know if you can see that. It's hard to see because it's very light pink. See how there's something white here? I have to cover that. I can't leave that like it is. So then I just take another piece of fabric that I have, and I just cover that piece. So I'm just adding this piece on here. I'm going to keep going. So all of my white is covered. Can everybody hear me okay while I'm running the machine and talking? I hope it's not too annoying. See, and I'm just kind of, I've got to figure something out here because there's a space. So now I'm going to grab a piece of this. And notice I ran it this way before, but this time I don't need a ton of it. So I'm going to just lay it, crumble it up and lay it right here. And we're going to lay it along there. Sometimes you have to lift your presser foot. And we're just going to keep going all the way down. And I'm using white, just regular white sewing thread. Actually, I'm using a cream. But you could use black if you like that look. You could use black thread. You could use pink thread if you didn't want to see the thread. You could do just about anything you wanted to. I just bought some sheets and pillowcases from a store just for this purpose. Perfect. You're baking brownies for your hubby? Wonderful. Susie, I am making a Snippet. I'm making these patchwork Snippets. And so, except I'm using boho scrap fabric that I have. So, I'm just kind of showing, and we're just kind of talking tonight and crafting. My husband's watching sports right now, and to be honest with you, I'm tired of sports. We're in hockey season, basketball season, and baseball season right now. So I decided to come in and kick on the camera and just craft along and talk with you all. So I appreciate each and every one of you that have subscribed to my channel. You know, my channel is a little over a year old, and I never thought anybody would care what it is that I was doing. I just thought, oh my gosh, when I got my first 100 people, I was just ecstatic. And, you know, my goal is to get to 5,000 by the end of this year. So if you can, you know, give me a thumbs up and share it. If you see something you like, you know, please share it with others, because I just want to continue to share what I do. I don't make any money off of these videos. I don't charge for my videos. I do sell some kits and do some different things on the side, but the majority of what I do is just to teach. I want to teach others. I want to share what I know and help newbies, because when I was a newbie, I was a little overwhelmed about what I could do. And so I'm here to just help. So if you guys have questions, you know, email me, send me a message, and I am happy to answer any questions if I can answer them for you. It is fun to get new subscribers. It's, you know, I've kind of been busy a lot lately, and so I haven't been doing a lot of videos, and so then I get the subscribers and I'm like, oh my gosh, I haven't even done any new videos and I have new subscribers. So it's fun. And if any of you are on here tonight have a channel and you want more subscribers, put your channel in the description, the chat, excuse me. And you guys go over and subscribe. If we all subscribe to each other's, that just helps us all out. Okay. So here's where we're at, you guys. So this is my Scrappy boho. And you can see I've added pretty much everything is covered up. And I've done 3 rows. The middle row is what I started with. And then the center row, the center row is what I started with. And then I go along each edge. Now, what I like to do is I like to go in between each one. And this one, you can go wiggly. I just try to catch all the pieces on the edge, because if someone wants to use this in snippets, which I use it a lot like that, then you want to make sure that they can, when they cut it, it's not going to cause problems. I'm just going over this fast and furious. All right. And now I'm going to go over the next one, and then we're going to start embellishing it. Barbara, you like to just watch others? Hey, and that's fine. Yeah, Lori, we're going to add lace too. Right now, we're just getting all of this on here. And then we're going to start adding even more pieces. In fact, because this is boho, I'm even going to add some sequins and things to it. All right, we're almost there. Sorry for all this noise and all this boring part. I'm sorry this video is so boring. Okay, so now what I do is I just kind of trim this end off. Okay, so here we are. Here's our strip. What do you guys think so far? Now, so I tore that off because it was rolling up. I'm going to put a new piece right there because I want to make sure that everything is down nicely. And so you can do that. If there's a piece you don't like, you can fix it. So I'm going to fix it real quick. And I'm just going back over my stitch lines. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to come down here and go over the second stitch line so I can get it down nice. And I saw a few pieces that were up, so I'm just going over them and crossing over my stitches, and I'm okay with that. Okay. So there we go. See, I pieced in a new piece right here. And now we are going to start adding to this. Thank you. Oh, it's not boring. Good. Good. Okay, so let me grab some pieces and let's start adding to it. Now, know that you can also add paper. If you want to add embellishments at this point, let's say you had some ephemera and you wanted to add it, you certainly could do that at this point. Okay, so I have this box of junk, but let's see what's in here. So I have this piece of lace, this little tiny piece of lace. I have some pink lace here, since we're sticking with our pink theme. Oh my gosh, I have this purple velour. We might add that, I'm not sure. I have some silver. Oops, sorry guys. Some silver. I have this little piece that needs to be used up. All right. What else? What else? What else? What else do I have in this messy, messy box? I just grabbed the one that was on top, so it's not necessarily my pink box. Okay, so I'm also going to show you another trick. How many of you have Tattered Angels Glimmer Mist? Do any of you have any Tattered Angels Glimmer Mist or any of the sprays? Okay, so I have two pink ones here because we're working with pink. So I don't buy a lot of colored laces. And I don't do that because I can pretty much dye anything that I want. And so we're going to do some dyeing of some lace tonight to match our pieces. So I'm going to take this lace right here, shake up my Glimmer Mist. Ooh, haven't used this one in a while. And I, of course, do not have my gloves on. Normally I would do this with gloves. So all I'm doing is just dyeing this a variegated color. Let me show you what it looks like. Isn't that beautiful? It's by Tattered Angels. I love this stuff. So we're going to use this lace on our piece. All right. Oh, see, I've created a gigantic mess here. All right. So what I do is now I just take little snippets the same way and I add them to this. And you can add them however you want. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start adding my lace. And I'm going to go every which way. And I'm going to use it sporadically throughout the piece. And I'm going to use different widths and different sizes. I do have some pinks, some boho pieces from my boho kits left. So we're going to add them in here. And it just gives you more texture. And some of the wider stuff I'm just cutting in half. All right, let's see what else we have here. And this is that stretchy lace like you use for children's headbands, which is not great for junk journaling, but for something like this, putting it down, it works great. So sometimes you can find that cheap, and it's great for collaging. All right. And then I'm going to fold this like this, and I'm going to lay this way. So I'll show you in a minute. Okay. Oh, of course. And I'm out of bobbin thread. Of course that happens when I'm on camera, right? And it was way up at the top. Oh my goodness. Sorry, guys. Stuff like this only happens on camera. Thanks so much for the thumbs up. I hope you're enjoying this video. Once we're done, I'll show you how to make embellishments with them and what you can do with these pieces because they're so fun. Give me just a second. I'm so sorry, you guys. I have to wind a bobbin. Love my altered paper clips. Thanks so much. They're fun. And you know what? You can use these for altered paper clips. You can cut these little pieces and make altered paper clips too. So okay. All right. Let's get back in business here. How many of you have a sewing machine at home? Do you guys have sewing machines? Okay, thanks, Kate. Thanks for coming. Appreciate it. You have 4, Lori? I won't even tell you how many I have. But I have more than 4. I also have a long arm quilter. So I have a gigantic gamble machine as well. So some point by this summer, I think I'll be selling quilted, hoping to be selling some quilted fabric for you ladies to be using in your journals. So, okay, let's get back to business here. Where did I leave off? All right. Okay, so I've tagged on all of my pieces so far. See that? Okay, I'm so glad I'm not boring you guys because I feel bad. All right, so we're going to now tack the other side down. Got caught on a sequin. we've now tacked all of our lace pieces on. Now, we can then go in and we can continue to embellish. So I have these little gold pieces that I think would look beautiful on here. These are hand tatted. So I'm just going to cut these. And I'm going to attach them. And I'm going to attach them with a zigzag this time. And you can use a zigzag. Oops, I got to slow it down. If you want at any point. I just like to use a straight stitch most of the time for this type of project. But if I'm going to add appliques, I typically will zigzag them if they're intricate like this is. And just remember, when you're doing this, make sure you back stitch and lock your stitch. So look at that. Isn't that pretty? So let's add a couple of more of these. Since I have two more, we're going to add two more. And I'm just filling in space. So this one I put this way. This one I'm going to put the other way. And they kind of look like little, remind me of paisleys. So I'm just going around them with the zigzag. Now you can make these snippets as long as you want. Okay. And there's that one. And now, oh, let's do the other one. Right about here. Singer is your favorite? All right. Anybody else have sewing machines? Also make sure when you're doing this that you keep your needle in the needle down position, or you may end up with some problems. You do have to stop quite a bit. Now, I don't cut all of my threads and worry about those threads unless until I start using these. But I mean, you're welcome. If you want to go through and trim them all and do all that, you know, you can do that. I don't really worry about them too much until I'm using it for the project, because sometimes I like the threads that are there. All right. So here's what we have so far. It's getting there. Now you can add buttons. You can add all kinds of things. Now I have this pink. Isn't that pretty? This is from my boho collection too. So I'm going to cut out a piece of this. And we're going to add this as well. Let's add this right here. I mean, we can keep layering and layering and layering. Using a straight stitch for this because it's very delicate and there's very small sequins on it, so I'm afraid that the zigzag will cause problems. Now, as I said before, if you don't want the white thread showing, you know, go ahead and use pink thread. Okay, see, I added that little piece on there. So you can just keep building and building and building and building. What do you think? Good night, Lori. Should we add more or should we leave it as is? What do you think? Should we keep adding? So I have this piece of silk here, which I'm going to add. And I'm going to add this by just zigzagging down the middle of it because the silk is so fragile. Plus, that will add even more texture. You guys, I can keep adding all night. You're going to have to stop me soon. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? I think we'll add another piece like that. Shall we keep adding or should we start making some embellishments? What do you think? All right, we'll add some embellishments. Let me use this last little piece of silk up because I don't want to put it in my scrap bin. I've got one more little piece somewhere. Or right here. We're going to use this last little piece up and then I'll start making some embellishments. I can't throw silk away because it's so expensive. Even when it's a little tiny piece. All right, let me get this last little piece of silk on here. Okay. Let's move this junk out of the way. All right, so this is what we end up with. Is this gorgeous piece right here. And then what we can do is we can start making embellishments. So what does that look like? Let me get some pages of a journal. Okay. So the first thing we can do is we can make a tab. So all I'm doing is cutting a piece that I like. Now I'm cutting this on an angle, and I don't throw this away because this can be used for something. But look, I can add that to the bottom of the page, or I can add it to a journaling card. I don't backstitch on every piece, Bella, because when you start snipping it up, it doesn't really matter. But I do use my straight stitch. I do stitch that at 2.2. So the other thing is I could use this as a belly band. So if I cut this right here, I now have a belly band that we can tuck in, okay? Or I can cut it this way, and I have a belly band this way. If you don't like these raggedy edges, you can trim them up, make them even. I don't mind those. I think they're fine. If I wanted to do something down here. Now, what if I need a page tab? I just simply cut a piece of this like that. And let's say I need a page tab. All I have to do is fold it over, staple it or glue it, and I now have a tab. Isn't that pretty? Now, somebody was asking me or talking earlier about my altered paper clips. And I said, if you remember, I said you can make these into altered paper clips. How do you do that? I'm going to keep that out. I'm going to cut another piece. Okay. Now, if I'm going to make this into an altered paper clip, I do need to try to square up my edges as much as possible. So I'm trimming those little pieces off. I'm using it the same way I would as if I was going to make a page tab. Oops, I accidentally went through the wrong. Go on this side. All right, I don't know if you can see this. So see, I'm going on the inside. Here's my cotton. So I'm pushing this down. Oh, I have an idea. Hold on. Let's see here. Okay. So I have this little dangle charm. I'm going to hook this on here at the top. I'm going to put the smaller end inside the smaller part of my paper clip. this may not work. Nope, that's not going to work how I thought it would. See, guys, I'm trial and error here, but I am going to use that dangle. All right, so we're going to just go ahead. We're going to do it just like the tab. I'm going to use Fabri-Tac. I'm going to center my paper clip. Just like that. I'm going to trim off these little excess threads. It does need to dry a minute. You do want to make sure, though, that your glue is in there. It's not dry yet, so I'm not going to be able to use it until it's completely dry. Darn it. See, I don't have patience when I'm on camera here. All right. We'll let it dry. But here is our little clip. Now, if I wanted to add this on here, I could simply stitch it on there, or I can take a safety pin or a bulb pin, but I'm going to use a little silver safety pin. And I can hook that in there. And look at that. Isn't that adorable? It's almost dry. It's still tacky a little bit. And there is our adorable altered paper clip. So just another easy, quick way to use these snippets. Okay, so we said a tab. You could just staple that on there. So now I have a tab. We can have a little corner tuck if we want, or we can just simply embellish that, use that as an embellishment. You can use this as a band. And you can pretty much do whatever you want. I mean, if I wanted to start, I mean, I could make clusters if I wanted to. If I want to make a cluster, I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm going to cut a piece. I'm going to get, you know what? We're going to use a piece of this because it's pink already. And let's see, what else can I add into that cluster? Grab I have a little stamped image I could add on there, which I don't like that, but you could. Or I could just get a piece of ephemera. Let's find a piece real quick here. Let's find a piece of ephemera. No. Here we go. I can simply take that get my stapler, staple that together, and now I have another embellishment that can go on a page, just like that. Yeah, I'll be using pieces of it for journals. That's my goal, is to make embellishments. But absolutely, I mean, you could bead on it. You could, you know, if I wanted to, I could do some hand sewing on it as well. I have some little tiny seed beads somewhere on my desk that would be beautiful on there. I mean, I could take and, you know, hand sew some of these beads on there. I could take and I could add some bling to it if I wanted to. These adhesive bling pieces work great right on these fabric clusters as well. So I could add those on there. I mean, so we could really really continue to embellish this. If you don't like to hand sew, these little seed beads work great on bulb pins. You just grab a bulb pin. There's one right here. And you add your seed bead. You can add a charm if you want. And another seed bead. Now all of a sudden you have this adorable little dangle. That also looks great on there. So I hope you guys will get out your fabric scraps and you will start playing around with this, because this is so much fun. All right, so let me give away a couple of things. I'm going to give away this and this embellishment. And I'm going to give away that little snippet. All right, I have 4 prizes. 4 prizes. What I'm going to ask you to do is I'm going to ask you to write down a number between 1 and 30. And the 4 people who are closest to the number that I just wrote down are going to win one of these piles. So at this time, if you'd like to be part of my giveaway, go ahead and enter a number between 1 and 30, please. I'm going to give you about 30 seconds for anybody else who wants to enter. All right, last call for your number. And it looks like only 4 of you entered. So guess what? All 4 of you are getting something. So my number was, 13. So the closest person was Barbara. So Barbara, you're going to get this packet right here. Please send me an email with your mailing address so I can get that out in the mail tomorrow. The next closest, well, let's see here, was Gloria Munoz. Gloria, you're going to get this pile. Send me an email, please. And then Maria, you're going to get this pile. Send me an email. And Bella's going to get this pile. Excuse me. So if you would please send me an email. I've lost my little email sheet, but I'll write it down here again real quick. So my email is Rachel, R-A-C-H-E-L, Reid, R-E-I-D, 2014 at gmail.com. So I hope everybody liked these, and they're all going out in Happy Mail that we made online today. Please make sure you send me an email right away, and I will get these in the mail. I hope everybody enjoyed this tutorial. Hope you have a great evening, and I'll talk to everybody soon. Bye.